When the pandemic hit, like everyone else, I had obstacles, but I had opportunities within it as well. I was able to join the Zoom meeting for disabled people to discuss their issues with disability. And it was the first time in 21 years I was able to meet a group of disabled people that I actually got along with. The group was called Crip Chat, and we were definitely a diverse group of people. But the thing we all had in common was our interest in advocacy and activism. And out of this, friendships grew. And as these friendships grew, I began to notice the diversity of ability within specific disabilities. So I discussed it with some of the people from the group, and we thought it would be a great idea to make a documentary about it. We are going to present you with two different disabilities. Cerebral palsy is the first one, and that is a disorder that affects a person's ability to move, their balance, and their posture. The second one will be spinal cord injury, which occurs when a person's spinal cord is damaged. And this often leads to permanent changes in a person's strength, their sensation, and their bodily function. I am so grateful that despite the obstacles we all faced with our disabilities, we were able to come together and make this movie happen.
My name is Freddy Ladner, and I have cerebral palsy. Due to my ability in doing physical things, it was hard for me to document this video, and I required assistance for filming. So I got my friend slash provider to help me film the video. And so that's how I was able to record and document everything.
And because of that, we've decided to do a series of interviews with Freddie to just talk about what his daily life is like. Taking a shower, like how much assistance do you need with that? Like, what does that look like for you?
Almost 100% assistance.
An assistant. So you have a person. So does like the sense of embarrassment or anything come like that into play with when that happens, when you have to ask someone for help with that?
Honestly, not really, because since I lived in a group home for 7 years at least, we always had turnover and we always had new workers try out to see if they liked the job or whatnot. So you had to be comfortable with like just letting them see you naked, unfortunately. So honestly, that doesn't really bother me because when you grow up in a group home, that stuff just doesn't bother you.
I know you have a roommates, but are you just like, is it like a regular roommate type situation, or what's the situation like?
He's uh my roommate. He We were friends. Uh and then he found out that the providers were not taking care of me like he would have liked. So he um he actually took over the job of
Oh,
being my provider. So he's actually my live-in provider.
so that's cool that your roommate's doing that for you. So like, so when, how do you eat? Like, does he make the food for you, or how does that work?
Yes, he makes the food for me and he also feeds me. I could feed myself, but he feels bad, one, because it takes too long for me to feed myself, and two, it's an easier mess to clean up if he just goes ahead and does it for me. So that's the dynamic that we have with that.
And like, what time do you usually go to bed?
Anywhere from between 12 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to bed and you just hung out in bed from anywhere from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Do you ever just go to bed early and just like chill in bed and, go on YouTube and all these things that you.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like, because I have a hospital bed, so I'm able to go to sleep whenever I want to go to sleep.
Okay.
But you were right. I chill out on Facebook or YouTube or play Words with Friends.
So, Freddie, when you are in your bed, you surfing the web, writing people, doing what we all do, um, can you explain a little bit about how you've set your stuff up and what technology you use to be able to do those types of things?
Sure, I have a bedside table like you would normally see in a hospital room, and it just goes over my bed. And I have my laptop on the computer table. And with my laptop, I use Velcro to Velcro all of my remotes and everything to it, so I don't have to worry about anything falling off. I can just push the button and do what I need to do without it worrying about it falling. So that's what I do with the Velcro. And then as far as the computer, I can operate the computer um, with my disability um, the regular way, but I've found different techniques to make it easier for me. I use an app called Mouse Pro, and the app just makes it easier where I can communicate from my phone to the computer where I don't have to actually use my left index finger to actually type everything on the computer. Um, Even though I have a disability and I have challenges to go through every day, the these techniques that I have found have helped me learn how to interact with my community.
Okay, my name is Imani Belk, and I was diagnosed with spastic diplegia, cerebral palsy, and I am 24 years old.
So,
I need minimum assistance. Um, I have trouble doing my hair, and I have difficulty tying my shoes because of my hand coordination. But I can get dressed myself. I can bathe myself. In order for me to use the stove, I would have to sit down on my walker, which means putting the walker in front of the stove, which means that blocks the oven. So I can't use the oven at that point. Um, but the way our stove is set up, the knobs are on the wall instead of at the bottom, so I would have to reach over the flame. That would be kind of dangerous if I'm cooking something hot on the stove. In the morning, it takes a while for my muscles to wake up, so to speak, and my body is affected by the weather a lot. So if it's cold outside, I'm stiff. So it takes me longer to get up in the wintertime than it does the summertime. I use a walker. I have two walkers actually. I have a walker upstairs, and then I also have a walker downstairs. I have to kneel down to get things out of the fridge because at that point when I kneel down, it's at the food is at eye level, so it's easier to reach. My walker has a basket in it, and it also has a seat on it. So I put things in the basket so because I have to figure out a way to carry things around because I use both of my hands for my walker. So my hands are not free. to carry the things around. So that's how I carry the food around. Normally I put if I'm making something, normally I put the ingredients in the bottom, and then if I need to get a plate or something, I put that actually on the seat. I use the walker as a seat when I get tired. Sometimes depending on where I'm going, sometimes I use it as a seat when there's no other seats available. And sometimes it's easier just to sit on the walker versus having to transfer from a chair to a chair, because depending on the environment, it might just be easier and quicker for me to sit there. I'm blessed to be able to have the ability to have more independence by washing the dishes and doing laundry on my own. When I do laundry, I can put it in the washer and dryer myself, but actually bringing the basket downstairs, sometimes I need assistance. Um, Sometimes I also need assistance when it comes to folding clothes, because my hand coordination isn't that great. So I try my best on that, but sometimes my siblings help me with the like folding the laundry and taking the dirty clothes downstairs. But I can put the laundry in the washer and dryer myself. Technology helps me sell my jewelry and helps me advocate for people with disabilities.
I'm Talia Flores, a 25-year-old with spastic cerebral palsy. I'm an author, writer, and radio show host. CP is a neurological condition that affects one part of the brain. It affects your cerebral part of the brain. For me, it affects my left side more so than my right. I have more mobility in my right side than my left, but I never allowed it to determine my will and strength and determination. My morning routine depends on my CP if it wants to wake me up at 3 a.m. because it decides it wants to have a party and invite muscle spasm and chronic illness and stiffness. The way I would describe CP is like having an annoying tenant that doesn't move out and you're just hoping that it does, but it never does, and it makes loud noises every night, and they throw parties and get drunk. Kind of like a college frat party. First thing that comes to my mind in the morning is what could I do to be a better advocate for those like me? Yeah, that motivates me to get out of bed, although it hurts. Like when my mom has to lift me up and do everything, it hurts me. I'm a writer. And I'm currently working on two books, one that focuses on advocacy and one that focuses on ableism and romance. And then I have one book published, James Ticking Time Bomb. So that's three books. And like when I go to sleep, I'm constantly dreaming about these characters and what's gonna happen next. I wrote about you. I did, but I'm waiting to show you.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see it.
And I wrote about certain people in Crip Chat. I use my dragon dictation, my text to speech, and I use this little swanny finger. Because I was born with swan neck deformity, and the reason why it's called swan neck deformity is because the bone's so misformed that it's in the shape of a swan. This is an example of my swan neck deformity. As you can see, my little swan finger here, and this is all it does in different stages. Oh, goodness. Yeah, this hurts, but I'm gonna go take a nap and then see what it does after. So, be on the lookout for this crazy swanny. Okay, so this is after my nap. I just woke up a few minutes ago. But this is it after. Not much of a change, but it's very much more relaxed now. And now it's like I'm saying fuck you in CP form, but yeah, that's me after. And the reason why I use the accessibility keyboard is because sometimes when the swan wants to act up and I have a sore mouth, I could just open it up on my laptop and just type. That way I'm not stopping from doing what I love. That way I'm always doing it. So, well, for the MacBook Pro, they're already built in with their new accessibility programs. MacBook Pros are like a lifesaver when it comes to writers with disabilities. Today has been one of my most difficult days with cerebral palsy in a few days. I mean, I've had butt spasms all morning long, to the point where I have to lay down on my side and try to do my writing that way, but that's impossible right now as they get worse and worse by the second. And holding the camera is just, like, I just feel very much, I don't know if I could flip this thing over, but this is my computer and this is the angle that I have to put it in now because my butt spasms are killing me, and then tomorrow I'm probably gonna transfer out of my bed into my chair. This is my everyday
Hey, this is Hector here. I'm a C5, C7 quadriplegic, or I use a motorized wheelchair. I've been injured for about 38 years. So the Hoyer lift is, I use a number of medical equipment, and a Hoyer lift is what I use in order to do a transfer. And I like it. And the reason I enjoy that now, and I wasn't too crazy before it, is because it's big, it's bulky, it's hard to travel with. You gotta, I like the fact that it does try to get compact, but not too compact. But anyway, the Hoyer lift is something that I was forced to use after about 15 years of my injury. I broke my femur, but that's the reason I like it today. I wasn't too crazy about it because, like I said, it's too difficult to travel around. It's time consuming than just pivoting over to a bed or something like that. So I would say a good pivot, good Hoyer transfer takes about a good 10 or 15 minutes, at least, I work out in my patio over there. I got a gym that I use to do that. So I do a lot of cardio, you know, and sometimes cardio looks like this for like a good 5 or 10 minutes and stuff like that, get the heart rate going up and stuff like that. So I do a lot of self-exercise. Lynette, she's been with me like for about, 4 or 5 years.
I'm here to care for him and make sure that his needs are met to the best of my ability. And I believe his needs are priority because I'm his nurse and patient supposed to get, you know, what he needs.
Right,
so if you want 1 or 2?
I would like 2 because I'm a pig and I would like to have 2.
And we have some lemonade.
Lemonade, juice. I would have been having soda, but no. I got to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a C5, C7 quadriplegic, all right? And the reason that I'm learning to eat healthier, even though you saw the Chick-fil-A box, I am learning to eat healthier, right? Because you know why I go to Chick-fil-A? I go for their grilled chicken.
And unfortunately, only when I got here, I looked in and they didn't give us grilled today. I am so
Oh my God, so now we got fried chicken
we don't
nuggets.
Eat fried. We go grilled.
And we go grilled. So you're going to have to edit this part out of the video.
And if you want, I'm going to open some black beans and you can have them on the side or you can have them in your side.
Great. And are they warm? Are they cooked?
I'm going to warm them.
Yes, so I don't like cold beans, so I prefer warm beans, all right? And I like to have them in my salad. Nice little towel, like a little towel to cover the shirt, make sure I don't get dirty, all right? And we hold it up with what? Roach clips. See, I would know these as roach clips, but they're not really called roach clips, but because I used to be a pothead, we call them roach clips. I'm a quadriplegic, so my hands are affected, all right? So I can't hold that fork like I normally would, right? So I got some tenodesis in this hand. So when I drop my wrist like that, if I grab my fork and then pull it up, it allows me to do that. Key thing here is that I use plasticware, all right? Because if I use a normal fork, it's too heavy for me, all right? And I can't pick it up, hence I would need to be fed. So yeah, so my experience over the 38 years, you know, I've had big vans, I've had small vans, and the way that I, you know, mechanically drive with my body. And again, when I was 17 years old, I had a lot more upper strength in my arms. And so I would get on a lift and the lift would take me into the van. There would be no driver's seat there. So, and the seatbelt would run right across. So all I had to do is just move forward and the seatbelt will go right over my chest. And then you would hear this click because underneath the wheelchair, there was this big screw, big heavy metal screw that would lock in to this lock and I would lock in. Now in front of me, of course, is the steering wheel. And then to the left of me is this three-prong arm thing. What do you want to call it? Where you place your hand in. Because of my paralysis, and I don't think you can see it very good there. See, this is why the camera probably needs to be sideways instead of up and down the way I have it. But hey, so anyway, can I do that real quick? Or no, sorry,
Yeah,
I messed with us.
Yeah, that's fine. You can.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. Look at Freel's like, yeah, go ahead. You could do that, Quad. Good luck trying to do that without your nurse there. Yeah.
Good
There you
job.
go.
You did.
Oh my God, now it looks real good. So anyway, oh my God, real close up of my hands. All right, so the hands are paralyzed, okay? And there's no wrist, where this one has a wrist. I can control that movement, okay? So my left hand would go in this thing where I had 3 prongs. It would lock my wrist in. So if I pull back, it wouldn't like come out of the control, the hand controls. And then if I push forward, that would push down on the gas. So pushing down, and it would do it with air. It was really the coolest thing. So it would use air to press down on the gas. And then when I pull back, I could just do manually pull back with press down on the brakes. Okay, so I got my gas and brakes there. I take this arm, this good hand, and I would put it on the steering wheel. And on the steering wheel, there was these 3 prongs, and I would put it in there, and that would allow me to drive. I put my right hand on the steering wheel that also has 3 prongs on it, and I can take it out of the steering wheel anytime I want it, just by doing this, you know, just pulling back like this. But you know, I can't. It won't. If I pull back, it'll stay in there. It's very safe. So so I use that to steer, right? Because I got this movement in my shoulders, and then I could turn the wheel around, and then I could steer that way. Now, my left elbow, if I wanted to make, if I wanted to like do the horn, if I wanted to beep at somebody while I was driving, I would just flick my wrist, my elbow to left, and there was this button on the side of my door that my elbow would hit if I wanted to beep the horn. So driving, whoa, whatever, beep beep, you know, I was like beep beep. Anyway, so it'd be like a chicken thing over here, left elbow. All right, we're gonna be serious here. Left elbow to do signals. Right elbow, all right, still in driving, right elbow turns on my signals. Now, I had to be very careful about this because it's like 2 switches.
top switch is left turn, bottom switch is right turn. So driving, top left, want to go that way, want to go that way, stuff like that. And that was pretty much it. And I could drive for hours, and I have drove for hours. I think the most mileage, check this out, the most mileage I put in 1 year, Priya, 100,000 miles.
My name's Priya Ray. I had a T12L1 spinal cord injury in 1999. I'm really fortunate because I am a paraplegic, which means I have use of my upper body and my lower limbs are paralyzed. But despite that, I have a strong core and I can use my upper body, which makes it different for me to drive than Hector. So in order to move the seat, there's these switches on the seat that they modified for me. This is how I get into the seat. So in order to drive, I use hand controls. I use this is the hand controls, and this, when I pull it towards me, it hits the gas, as you can hear that. When I go like this, it's the brakes. The turn signals are here. When I'm driving, remember I'm pulling the gas, so I take my finger and I push it down, or I push it up to get the turn signals. To do the lights, the horn, there's a thing here, a little thing fell off of it, but this is basically how I do the horn, and these control the bright lights. To deal with my pain, there's a few things I do. I do actually take a medication, but I'm actually not sure if it helps my pain, because that's the twist of medication is for some people they know, but for me I'm not really sure. So because the medical world doesn't really have solutions for me, I decided to do exercise. Exercise really helps me a lot. I do exercise at the YMCA. Before the pandemic, I would go there every day, and for half an hour I would ride this machine. That was really great. And then when the pandemic happened, I had to figure out ways to exercise, which I did, and it really helps me physically and mentally to deal with my pain. I also exercise because I have ability in different parts of my body. Like my quadricep muscles are pretty much normal, whereas my hamstrings and my other glutes are not. So that's what prevents me from walking. But with my upper body and the quadriceps I have, it allows me to get into my friend's house if they have stairs. I don't really need a caregiver 24/7 because for the most part I can do things on my own. I can get in and out of bed on my own. I can wear my clothes on my own. I don't need assistance taking a bath or going to the bathroom, and I can cook by myself too. It's really my pain that hinders my ability, and that's when I need Robert, who is my partner, friend, bandmate, and caregiver, to bring me hot water bottles and hot tea in the morning. Because of the spasticity I suffer from, my muscles get really tight in the morning, and I need those to loosen them up so I can get out of bed. Sometimes I need Robert to even cook for me because my pain is so bad. But the thing is, Robert has to work. He has another job. And when he's at work, he can't make me food. And sometimes I'll be sitting on the couch for hours and hours just thinking to myself, I have to get up and eat. I have to get up and eat. But I just sit there because the pain is so bad. But then finally, I pull myself into my wheelchair, move my body, and get over to the kitchen and heat up some food and eat. About a year and a half ago, I was able to move into an ADA compliant apartment. Now, this apartment is accessible and inaccessible all at the same time. Basically, the bathrooms are accessible. I have a roll-in shower with bars and a toilet with bars. So it's easy for me to transfer and take a shower and go to the bathroom. But the kitchen, not so much. When I go into the kitchen, the counters are lower, but not low enough for me. And quite often when I'm cooking, I have to put a bowl in my lap or in the drawers to be able to do things. The switch for the garbage disposal is located in a spot that's absolutely ridiculous. It's not even accessible to a person that's not disabled. The only spot in my apartment that is truly ADA accessible is the bathroom. And it's because of that that this apartment complex feels it's okay to categorize this apartment as ADA accessible. But it's not, because it's only accessible to some, but not to everyone. And when that is allowed, that is what creates the bigotry against the disability community where you live, and it should be stopped.
It is the summer of 2020. We are in a pandemic. As disabled people, we often worry about our health and lives during this unpredictable time. Despite our daily challenges, we are flourishing as we learn to navigate through this season of life.
In March, a disabled community was established, a group called Crip Chat, where we are able to gather together via Zoom.
After listening to each other's stories, we quickly learn that all of us have diversity in our abilities. We decided as a whole that it would be great to do a documentary about it.
Despite our abilities, we all documented ourselves however we could. Some of us had the help of our family members, others had the help of our caregivers.
We all had to figure out how to rig up our devices to record from, to bring you our film, Disability on the Spectrum.